back to some tactical notes. Speed is essential. The movements of guerrilla troops must be secret and of supernatural rapidity. The enemy must be taken unaware and the action entered speedily. There can be no procrastination in the execution of plans. You got to get it done here and now. The enemy is much stronger than we are. And it is true that we can hinder, distract, disperse, and destroy him only if we disperse our own forces. Although guerrilla warfare is the warfare of such dispersed units, it is sometimes desirable to concentrate in order to destroy an enemy. Thus, the principle of concentration of force against a relatively weaker enemy is applicable to guerrilla warfare. A little bit of prioritize and execute. And this right here is where we're going to close it out. Again, going back to leadership. No military leader is endowed by heaven with an ability to seize the initiative. It is the intelligent leader who does so after a careful study and estimate of the situation and arrangement of the military and political factors involved. When a guerrilla unit, through either a poor estimate on the part of its leader or pressure from the enemy, is forced into a passive position, its first duty is to extricate itself. No method can be prescribed for this, as the method to be employed will, in every case, depend on the situation. One can, if necessary, run away. But there are times when the situation seems hopeless and in reality is not so at all. It is at such times when the good leader recognizes and seizes the moment when he can attain and regain the lost initiative. Let us revert to alertness. To conduct one's troops with alertness is essential of guerrilla command. Leaders must realize that to operate alertly is the most important factor in gaining the initiative and vital in its effect on the relative situation that exists between our forces and those of the enemy. Guerrilla commanders must adjust their operations to the enemy situation, to the terrain, and to prevailing local conditions. Leaders must be alert to sense changes in those factors and make necessary modifications in troop dispositions to accord with them. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about you got to have the ability to detach. He's calling it be alert. The leader must be like a fisherman who, with his nets, is able to both cast them and pull them out in awareness of the depth of the water, the strength of the current, or the presence of any obstructions that may foul them. As the fisherman controls his nets through the lead ropes, so the guerrilla leader maintains contact with and control over his units. As the fisherman must change position, so must the guerrilla commander. Dispersion, concentration, constant change of position. It is in these ways that guerrillas employ their strength. And so you'll notice, again, what he's talking about is that the leader has to be able to detach and be alert of these things that are happening. And also you'll notice that throughout this, he puts total responsibility on the leader. If the leader does well, the troops will do well. If the leader fails, they all fail. He's talking about extreme ownership, this communist.